guys want to do a run through of the Star Spangled Banner just so we're straight on?
I'm sure we got it right.
Yeah, let's just run the banner.
Yeah, might as well.
Go. Oh man. Number 9 could be a quick road map if we want. Well, I don't want to call it without checking with the first trumpet.
I don't know. I think maybe someone sent that over though.
Might be nice and
We
G.
could shorten
I
it
think people just think someone sent it.
if we need to, you know. You're 9? Yep.
9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should we do the
Good idea,
repeats or
someone.
no? The repeats?
Yeah, go ahead. She may stop.
Plan on repeats. And,
Play
yeah.
the repeat. Play the
Okay. Number 9.
Hold on. Oh, okay. Sure.
Okay. 1, 2,
I have held
That was friendly.
Alistair Cook's
It's nice tea, yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm friends with his granddaughter.
Yeah, I need to ask you what road map you usually do for that. Uh-oh. All right, they're coming.
Ready, here we go.
What are we playing?
Pop and
Pop and
circumstance.
Remember, make him cheer.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Start. Ready, 1, 2, 3. top. Go ahead.
They're going to announce it.
Ladies and gentlemen, try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege to welcome you to the commencement ceremony for the Tulane University Law School class of 2019. We begin our ceremony today with the national anthem performed by the Crescent City Brass. Will you please rise? Please be seated. Graduates, families, friends, colleagues, you want it loud or do you want it quiet? Just let me know, your preference. Thank you. Welcome, all of you. This is a day of joy and celebration, though I know at some times it might have seemed a long time in coming. Nearly 3 years ago, for most of you, you began a great journey that has finally taken you to this stage. You, the JD students, who arrived for orientation that sweltering August in 2016, came from every corner of the country. For those enrolled in our LLM, Payson, and other graduate programs, many of you came from even greater distances, from 21 countries spanning the globe, from Argentina to Thailand, from Ghana to Greece. Teachers, engineers, veterans, musicians, labor union officials, human resource professionals, you each brought your own rich experiences and talents. And you set out on an adventure that has transformed you and bonded you together through common rituals of hardship and triumph. Conquering the outline, managing an answer the first time you were cold called in class, confronting that first set of final exams. These rituals now may seem so unremarkable that you have forgotten how truly remarkable they once were. In navigating these landmarks, whether you now fully appreciate it or not, you have been transformed. These years of toil and triumph have left you with a command of legal methods and doctrine, but also something more. They have steeped you in the norms and values of the profession, in what it means to be a lawyer. The same is true for those of you graduating from the Payson program in global development and from our Masters of Jurisprudence in labor and employment law, who have been forged together by a common experience, even if often separated by distance, and a common passion for changing lives through your work with others, often while juggling full-time careers. Of course, this has been a journey not only for the graduates here in this hall, but also for those who love and support them. For you, the parents, partners, spouses, children, and other supporters of today's graduates, these past years of study have brought your own sacrifices. Many of you have worked extremely hard to make it possible for your loved ones to reach this milestone. Graduates, I invite you now to stand, turn around, and applaud in thanks those who have supported you. For the graduates, this moment is, of course, yours, first and foremost, but graduation is also an important milestone in the life of our law school because it marks your transition from students to alumni. This is Tulane Law School's 168th graduation. Tulane grew from humble beginnings in 1847 in a borrowed courtroom in the Customs House downtown, and it graduated its first class just 6 months later. Yes, Tulane's first law students were deemed ready to practice after just a half year of study. Those were, of course, simpler times, and they didn't have to take a bar exam either, at least not one that you would recognize. As most of you look ahead to multi-day exams and bar review courses, you could fairly long for earlier days. Until the turn of the last century, the requirements for admission to the bar were notably informal. Aspiring lawyers were simply quizzed by a judge or a lawyer appointed by the court. If successful, it was often a custom that the applicant would then treat his examiners to dinner at a local tavern. Abraham Lincoln, early in his career as a lawyer riding the circuit in Illinois, regularly served as a bar examiner. An account by Jonathan Birch, one of the lawyers Lincoln certified, captures the spirit of the exam. Birch recalled being summoned to Lincoln's hotel room in Bloomington, Illinois in 1858 or 1859. There, Lincoln sat on the edge of his bed and fired off a series of questions that seemed only thinly connected with law. What books have you read? What's the definition of a contract was probably the most substantial. Lincoln ultimately seemed more interested in entertaining Birch with stories and sage advice. The whole process was interesting, Birch later wrote, yet so unusual, if not grotesque, that I was at a loss to determine whether I was really being examined or not. In short order, Lincoln dashed out a note, sealed it in an envelope, and directed Birch to take it to the court in Springfield. The note read, "My dear Judge, the bearer of this is a young man who thinks he can be a lawyer. Examine him if you want to. I have done so and am satisfied. He's a good deal smarter than he looks to be. Yours, Lincoln." Now, before you long too hard for those breezier days of 6-month law schools and chatty bar exams, it must be conceded that the world today is very different. Law school and bar exams are longer and more substantial because the law itself is more sprawling and complex. And with it, too, is the lawyer's role in society. Lawyers today shape debates in government over the permissibility of torture and surveillance, the justifications for war, the beginning and the end of life. For better or worse, basic questions of social policy and human initiative are increasingly entangled with questions of law, making lawyers ever more essential and influential. That means that you will have special opportunities to change our society, and also that you bear special responsibility to use your influence for good. Our Masters of Jurisprudence and doctoral students in global development will, of course, also have opportunities to remake our world, whether crafting policies to improve social conditions abroad or ensuring equity and opportunity in the workplace. In the years ahead, you will face a world not only of opportunities, but also, inevitably, of challenges not yet seen, just as Lincoln himself did only a few years after that jovial bar exam. Always remember that we are enormously proud of you, and that you do not face these challenges alone. The walk across this stage this afternoon is not the end of your relationship with Tulane, but only a very early milestone. So stay in touch in the months and the years to come, and let us know how we can help you in your careers, and in time, reach back and help the students who will follow you. And know always how proud we are to be forever associated with you. It is now my great pleasure to introduce this year's graduation speaker, the Honorable Luis Felipe Restrepo of the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit. Judge Restrepo earned his bachelor's degree at the University of Pennsylvania and his law degree from Tulane in 1986. Judge Restrepo was born in Medellin, Colombia, and became a United States citizen only in 1993, 7 years after his graduation from Tulane Law School. And yet he has spent the better part of the last 33 years since his own graduation in public service to the American people. Directly after law school, he worked for 6 years as a public defender for indigent criminal defendants, first in the state courts and then the federal courts in Philadelphia. Then, after 13 years of private practice, he was appointed to the federal bench in 2006, first as a magistrate judge for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. In 2012, President Obama appointed Judge Restrepo to the United States District Court in Philadelphia, and 2 years later nominated him again for appointment to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit. He was confirmed by the U.S. Senate in 2016, becoming the last nominee of President Obama to be confirmed as an appellate judge. Some of you may recall that Judge Restrepo visited Tulane Law School just a little more than a year ago to preside over our moot court honorary round final argument, and even more remarkably, that when he was stranded in New Orleans by a snowstorm in Philadelphia, he returned to the law school of his own accord to guest teach a number of classes. He has been enormously generous and supportive, and it is a great pleasure to welcome Judge Restrepo back to Tulane Law School.
It's always good to come back to Tulane. Dean, thank you for the generous introduction. And thank you, faculty, staff, and the entire Tulane legal community for allowing me to share this day as we gather honoring this year's graduating class. I have it on good authority that this year's class came from 32 different states, from the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, China, the United Kingdom, and over 100 different colleges and universities. And that you're all headed to no less than 15 states, the Northern Mariana Islands, to pursue careers in business, as sole practitioners, in big law, as public interest lawyers, as defenders, as prosecutors, as JAG officers, and as clerks in state and federal court. Congratulations to all of you. Now, recognizing that nobody does this alone, I'd like to acknowledge the parents, spouses, partners, faculty, family, supporters, and everybody who made this day possible. The class of 2019 owes you a deep debt of gratitude. I am you a generation removed. 33 years ago, I found myself sitting where you are today. And although I've had a good run since I graduated from Tulane Law, part of me is envious of you. I have no regrets, but I'm envious of the stories that have yet to be written and all the possibilities that lie ahead. And as happy as I was to have graduated from law school, I felt the same angst many of you share today. The bar exam, the dean talked about that. Debt, you're probably familiar with it. Employment, and quite frankly, many of us were not sure, after 3 years of law school, when it was all said and done, that we wanted to be lawyers. I'm here to tell you that it will be okay. In fact, it will be much, much better than okay. Your education at Tulane Law will serve you well, regardless of where you find yourself many years into the future. If you'll indulge me, I'd like to share some thoughts on lawyering, citizenship, and life from a perspective 33 years removed from graduation. I'll start with what you might find in your anxiety closet. The bar exam. Treat bar prep like a job. Stay focused. Practice taking the exam under time pressure, and you'll be fine. Do not panic. Manage your debt. Pay it off as quickly as possible and live beneath your means. This will allow you to pursue paths that are less conventional. I've learned that oftentimes the best jobs in the law pay the least. Now, I can only assume that some of you have yet to find a job. Relax, you will. I didn't have a job when I graduated here. I secured an internship with the ACLU's National Prison Project several months after graduation. I'm very confident that what you've learned and the relationships you've established over the past 3 years will serve you well for the balance of your personal and professional lives. You're about to cross the stage and receive something very valuable in terms of time, money, and angst, your law degree from Tulane University, a well-earned and well-deserved honor. The real value in your degree is the opportunities it will give you in terms of where it will take you and what you can do with it. Take pride and comfort in the knowledge that your legal education will give you the opportunity to do well by doing good. And notwithstanding conventional wisdom that can be highly critical of our profession, there is great virtue in being an attorney. It's a profession of honor and distinction. How you ultimately define your career is limited only by your integrity, your energy, your enthusiasm, and your imagination. Hold on to your idealism. Volunteer to do pro bono work. Engage in your community. Be a champion for the less fortunate, the marginalized, and the weak. Find ways to give back. You'll be glad you did, and it will make you a stronger person. Oliver Wendell Holmes once noted, "Those who aspire to engage in the greatness of the profession must first immerse themselves in the agonies of the times. You will soon be officers of the court in your respective jurisdictions. Time has chosen you to be the keepers of our Constitution. You must stand up and defend the rule of law. It is the bedrock of our democracy and what distinguishes the United States from the rest of the world. I, like all naturalized citizens of the United States, have a keen appreciation of how difficult it can be to attain citizenship in this country and how special citizenship in the United States is. It took me 31 years to become a citizen of this country. I came to this country as a young boy with my parents and two of my siblings from Colombia. We arrived on November 2nd, 1962. My parents never intended to stay here, but political instability and violence, tethered to the narco wars in Colombia over several decades, led them to make a life for their family in the United States. I've taken 3 oaths of fidelity to the Constitution of the United States in my various capacities as a federal judge. None more important or more meaningful than the oath of citizenship I took on September 7th, 1993 in Philadelphia, 31 years after my family arrived in the States. The rule of law and the independence of our judiciary are the cornerstones of our democracy. All of you must make it your business to nurture the foundation of our democracy. Practicing law is a privilege, and with privileges come responsibilities. Your first responsibility as an attorney is to be an engaged member and an active participant in our democracy. Democracy is not a spectator sport, and we all have an obligation to cultivate our democracy. Democracy is not a zero-sum game, and it's definitely not about where you identify on the political spectrum. Lawyers must ensure that there's a place for all manner of ideology consistent with our Constitution and the rule of law. Lawyers must lead by example and be role models to others in terms of what it means to be an engaged citizen. Register to vote and vote in every election. Teach civics to your family and friends. Give your time, talent, and treasure to candidates and causes you believe in. Engage in the process, but do so respectfully. You will no doubt disagree with one another. Dissent is healthy when done in the spirit of offering constructive solutions to common problems. Don't bully, insult, or personalize your disagreements with one another. This approach is corrosive to our democracy. Use your powers of critical thinking to find common ground, and never, ever take it for granted what a privilege it is to practice law in this country at this time in our history. I found that the best lawyers are also the best listeners. Listen to your client. Listen to opposing counsel, to your colleagues, your boss, the judge in your case, your adversary, and find a way forward. Please, don't lose sight of the fact that our profession is about people who turn to the law when life presents its most difficult issues. Focus on being a problem solver. Look for and find common ground. Much of what you've been taught in law school is critical thinking and making logical arguments. These skills will serve you well, but learn to listen. Your reputations as attorneys start here and now. Be a good person. Be respectful, be on time, and be honest. Appreciate that as attorneys, you come from a position of privilege, but don't act that way. Don't take yourself too seriously. Be patient and kind with yourself and others, regardless of where they find themselves in your world. Keep it all in perspective. Don't internalize or personalize the job. Take chances and push yourself outside your comfort zone. I'm confident that 30 years from now, you will not regret that you took a chance. You will regret not having done so. In my case, I left the office of the federal defender for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, a job that I consider among the best jobs an attorney could have, to start a very small civil rights and criminal defense practice. There was no guarantee of success or even a source of income, but it worked out, and I'm glad I did it. You don't want to ask yourself and wonder, what if? Take risks and don't be afraid to fail. My entire legal career is predicated on rejection. When I applied to be a defender in Philadelphia, The first time, the answer was no. I was eventually offered the position. When I applied to be a federal defender, I was again told, not now. I was fortunate enough to get the job later. I applied for the position of U.S. Magistrate Judge twice before I was offered the position the third time I applied. It took me several attempts to secure a nomination as a U.S. District Judge, but eventually the political pieces fell into place. I tell you this because you will all have to deal with some level of professional rejection. Do not let it define you. It's how you respond to adversity and rejection that will define your career and in many respects your life. I love being a lawyer. I was a public defender for 6 years in state and federal court. I was in private practice for 13 years. Most of what I did was represent individuals that could not afford counsel, accused of the most egregious crimes by local, state, and federal authorities, many of whom could not speak English, as well as those victimized by the system. I worked my entire career as an attorney, arguing against the government, representing people on the fringes of society, and I made a living doing this. Nowhere else in the world is that possible. My first visceral experience, the impact an attorney can make, was here at Tulane under the guidance of Betty Cole, who at the time was the director of Tulane's Criminal Defense Clinic. Betty was a revered figure at the clinic and at the courthouse where I tried my first jury, here in Orleans Parish. She not only talked the talk about being somebody's champion, she walked the walk. Betty Cole was among the finest attorneys I have ever been in the company of. The most important skills Betty demonstrated were the importance of listening and bringing a sense of humanity to the law, a process that is often harsh and impersonal. Allow me to touch on a few life lessons I've learned along the way that come from the perspective of a husband married to a lawyer and the father of 4 children. Don't let money become the most important thing in your life. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Or as Maya Angelou put it, if you earn, give. If you learn, teach. You can do well and do good at the same time. This is not a binary choice. You need to take care of yourself. Exercise and sleep. Now, it may sound cliche, and I'm not suggesting you train for an Ironman or run a marathon, but do something, anything. It can be as simple as taking a walk. If you have children, or you will have children, make time to be with them while they're with you. Be home for dinner. Listen to what your children have to say. Get to know their friends. Be patient with them and with yourself. Parenting is hard, probably the hardest thing you will ever do. It's also the most important. Do the simple things. Put the phone away. Offer to drive the carpool. Turn off the radio and listen to the conversations. Pick up after the game or the movies. Coach. Make time. Be there. Maintain and nurture relationships with your family and friends. The most valuable thing you can share with others is your time. Relationships, like anything else in life, require effort. It's well worth the investment. Lawyers have to read a lot. Find time to read material that you don't have to read. Find something that brings you joy and pursue it. Be a good person. Be kind. Be respectful of everyone you meet along the way, and be humble. You each have much to be proud of and even more to look forward to. You now share the privilege and responsibility of membership in the fraternity that is Tulane Law. Your legacy as an attorney begins today. I wish you only the best, a fulfilling career, a life of great joy, and the peace of mind that comes with knowing that you left the world a better place than you found it. It has been an honor to be with you. Congratulations and thank you.
Judge, thank you very much for those inspiring remarks and that sense of perspective. And thank you also very much for your service to our country on the bench and for your dedication to our students at Tulane. Now I'm pleased to introduce the president of the law school class of 2019 to offer remarks on behalf of the class. Gerald Williams was elected president of his class in both his second and his third years of law school. A native of Brooklyn, New York, Gerald earned both his bachelor's and a master's degree in international relations from St. John's University. At Tulane, Gerald continued his study of international affairs in our Berlin summer program and juggled leadership of the class with mentoring first-year students as a Harris Fellow. Most remarkably, he managed all of this and stayed on track even after being diagnosed with and then heroically beating cancer. In his application to Tulane, Gerald described falling in love with this city on a college service trip here, where he helped to build a house in the 9th Ward in the devastation following Hurricane Katrina. And he expressed his, as he put it, his steadfast belief that a Tulane law education would give him the greatest opportunity to pursue his passion for civil rights, for serving others, and his dream of a public interest career. After graduation, he will make good on that promise, returning home to New York City and joining Manhattan Legal Services as a staff attorney specializing in disability rights. I might note that Gerald's twin brother, Chris, graduates tomorrow from Loyola Law School in Los Angeles, and somehow their obviously equally remarkable mother is going to be covering both with the red eye, I suppose. Please welcome Gerald Williams.
Hello. Sorry. Good afternoon, Judge Restrepo, deans, professors, administrators, alumni, staff of the law school, family and friends of the graduates. My name is Gerald Williams, and I am the 3L class president. On behalf of our class, welcome to the commencement ceremony of the class of 2019. Although very nerve-wracking, I am extremely honored and humbled to have this opportunity. At first, I struggled to draw inspiration, but then I thought about the wonderful sense of community that Tulane Law School has offered to each and every single one of us. And then I knew this task would be easier. Sure, why not community? The very model of our university encourages just that. Not for oneself, but for one's own. So let's take a moment to discuss that. The late Coretta Scott King once said that the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. And boy, have I truly experienced that compassion. You see, I have a twin brother, as Dean Meyer noted, so I've always had this sense of community growing up. And then we decided to go to different law schools. My brother went to Loyola in LA, and I came down here to Tulane. I remember laying in my apartment alone for the first time and just being overcome with anxiety. And then orientation would come. And the first thing that was said to me was not, hello, what is your name? But hey, I love your shoes. And at that very moment, I knew that I was home. But what quickly became apparent was my class's tolerance, willingness to go the extra mile for each other, and good-heartedness. And as finals would come, I spent time trying to boost morale by going around telling everybody, we got this. And then my life would take an unexpected course. After 10 months of suffering and being led to believe that I had Crohn's disease, I would find out that I was in fact misdiagnosed and that I had stomach cancer. With that diagnosis, I did not expect to be here today. But amongst other reasons, you guys, my class, gave me a reason to fight. As I attended appointments, underwent chemotherapy, and was just too weak to sometimes do anything, you guys gave me your notes, provided outlines, helped me study, cooked for me, gave me rides to my appointments, visited me in the hospital, and the list goes on. I knew that you guys had me. And for that, I am forever grateful and will cherish this experience forever. I am often told that I am an inspiration, but no, you guys are my inspiration. I am seated amongst a class of JD, SJDs, LLM, and MJ students from all over the world and from all walks of life. I am in a class with future state representatives, powerful transactional attorneys, influential district attorneys, empathetic public defenders, environmental lawyers that will change the world, and those of us who will be using our law degrees to influence the lives of others in many other ways. We've had many trying moments throughout the course of our 3 years here, and each of you have constantly demonstrated the ability to be compassionate, motivating, and life-changing. The root of the word commencement informs us that this is only the beginning of a beautiful career that is awaiting us. With that said, I encourage you all to never lose track of why you came to law school. As lawyers, we have an incredible ability to be the change in the world that we would like to see, and therefore it is our duty to build a better world. In doing so, as Judge Restrepo once said, we cannot be afraid to engage our democracy. We have a few important cases that will come before the United States Supreme Court that have the ability to impact several civil rights, and I encourage that no matter what side of the fence that you stand on, you advocate in ways that best protects this democracy. Furthermore, no matter what you decide to do from here on in, always remember your ability to be compassionate, motivating, and life-changing. Do not let the voice of doubt silence your ability to succeed. Let your good-hearted natures continue to guide you all, and I am sure you will have a lifetime of success. I will always cherish you all, and you know I will always be here for each and every single one of you. To the deans, especially Dean Meyer, Dean Gaunt, Dean Timmons, and Dean Scheck-Schneider, I do not think I could ever properly convey my gratitude to you all for allowing me to make it to this finish line. Thank you so much for your unwavering support and for all the compassion that you've shown to my class. To the professors, especially Professor Matambananzo, Professor Wesley, Professor Saki, Professor Hopeful, and Professor Hancock, thank you so much for the steadfast support and encouragement that you have provided me over the last 2 years. For every extension, every office hour visit, every email, thank you. Thank you for teaching my class how to engage the law. To the parents, families, significant others, and friends, thank you all for your unconditional love and support and all the sacrifices you've made to bring us to this very moment. Graduation is a little less about us and more about everything you have done for us. For the late nights filled with uncertainty, the doubt we faced, your kind words and sentiments elevated us to new heights, and for that, I say thank you on our behalf. And finally, to my own mother, who moved to this country from Panama and sacrificed everything to make sure that her twin boys had the world. Thank you, Mom. We will never be able to pay you back for all that you've done, but I will be content if we can provide you with everything that you deserve. I love you all. God bless, and congratulations to my class.
Thank you, Gerald. Gerald is wrong about him not being an inspiration. He's right about his classmates also being an inspiration. It is a remarkable testament to the community of this class and to Gerald. Thank you. This brings us next to the presentation of this year's Teaching Awards. And I am pleased to call on my colleague, Professor Onig Dombalagian, our Vice Dean for Academic Affairs.
Thank you, Dean Meyer. At the Unified Commencement Ceremony earlier today, Professor Sally Brown Richardson received the 2019 President's Award for Excellence in Graduate and Professional Teaching, Tulane's highest honor for outstanding teaching and educational excellence. Please join me in congratulating Professor Richardson once again. Each year, the members of the graduating JD and LLM classes vote on 2 awards to be conferred at graduation for outstanding teaching. It is my privilege to announce, on behalf of the graduating classes and Tulane Law School, the recipients of this year's teaching awards. The first award, named in honor of Monte Montefiore Lemon, a distinguished Tulane alumnus, practitioner, civic leader, and teacher, is presented to a member of the adjunct faculty for outstanding teaching and service. This year's recipient has been a member of our adjunct community for over a decade and recently joined our Center for Energy Law as a senior research fellow. Students praise his ability to incorporate into discussion the real-world challenges that lawyers in the regulatory and corporate world face, drawing from his own experience as general counsel of 2 major energy companies. Students also laud the individualized care and consideration he shows them and his ability to draw upon their diverse backgrounds to teach policy from multiple perspectives. In addition to teaching energy law, regulation, and policy, he has flown the Tulane flag around the world, lecturing on topics ranging from the decommissioning of nuclear power plants to modern French legal history. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the 2019 Monty Lemon Award for Excellence in Adjunct Teaching, Professor Robert Sloan. The second award, named in honor of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Felix Frankfurter, is presented to the member of the full-time faculty who, in the opinion of the graduating class, has demonstrated an outstanding commitment to teaching and classroom instruction. This year's recipient is praised for the profound positive impact she leaves on the lives of our graduates, balancing rigor in teaching with compassionate mentorship. Students praise the passionate, fiery wit that keeps her overflowing classrooms engaged, her courageously honest yet sensitive exploration of difficult topics in criminal justice, and her unwavering willingness to support students outside the classroom, whether in rallying student organizations, working contacts to find jobs and externships, helping students transform their aspirations into careers, or serving as a pillar of strength in trying circumstances. If it were up to me, one student wrote, she would win every award, which she has more or less, having previously received this award in 2005 as well as the President's Award in 2017. It took me a lot of time to figure out how to find new things to say about this awardee, but please join me in congratulating the recipient of the 2019 Felix Frankfurter Distinguished Teaching Award, Professor Jancy Hofel. Thank you.
Thank you, Oneg, and congratulations to Professors Hofel and Sloan and Richardson. Congratulations. Each year, we honor the class who graduated 50 years ago. The class of 1969 had it easier than this year's class in some respects. Tuition was then just about what a semester's worth of casebooks cost today. On the other hand, they also had Mitchell Franklin's contracts class 6 days a week at 8 a.m., 9 o'clock on Saturdays was the concession. So it probably evens out between the tuition and the 8 a.m. class. We're honored today to be joined by members of the class of 1969. And if you'd please stand as I call your name. Michael Fleischman. John Schuler. Lawson Swearingen. Ronald Johnson. Galen Brown. John Musser. Gideon Stanton. Mike Gertler. Lawrence Contz. And Calvin Watson. Sorry. I now ask the class of Peter didn't ask. Peter, my apologies. I didn't realize you were going to be sorry about that, Peter. Thank you. I now ask the class of 2019 to rise and acknowledge the class of 1969, as someday the class of 2069 will honor you. Thank you. We now come to the much anticipated presentation of the graduates of 2019. Let me now ask the marshals to lead the graduates to the stage. As your name is called by Professor Martin Davis, please step forward to receive your diploma.
Candidates for Juris Doctor. Dante Agostino Alessandri, cum laude. Tyler Magna Andrews, magna cum laude. Adarsh Anamaneni. Chelsea Catherine Anthony. Rachel Marie Arison, cum laude. Adeline Michelle Arufo. John Milad Bahmani. Lilian Iran Maki Bahramipur. Benjamin Louis Estorge Bailey. James Wayne Barnett, cum laude. Hannah Christopher Beal, cum laude. Adam Louis Birnbaum, magna cum laude. Christopher Coel Blexrud. Patrick Michael Bowman, magna cum laude. William Douglas Boyd. Austin Grant Brackett. Stephanie Ann Bradley. Amanda Elizabeth Breslaw. Rosalind Ray Broad, cum laude. Brian G. Broussard, magna cum laude. Rachel Chloe Brown. Sarah Carolyn Bruce. Rachel Alexis Buckley. Maresh Patricia Campbell. Julian Armand Candelora. Zachary Luke Carabine. Caitlin Kane Chandler. Matthew Tyler Chung.
Thank you.
Tyler Justin Churchman. Alexander Charles Clark. Aaron Coffey. Travis Scott Coombs. Mary Louise Cordell. Courtney Elizabeth Crowell. Gulare Dabiri Tanha, cum laude. Henry Francis Darlan. Chelsea Tristan Danley. Edith Logan Davis. Emma Caroline Dedman. Emily Nicole Dombrowski. Charlie Joseph Draughter. Kevin Patrick Duffy. Gillian Keeley Delaney, cum laude. Corey Elizabeth Dutton. Catherine Joan Dye. Garrett Spencer Egan, cum laude. Ben Baxter Evans. Lauren Elizabeth Esnicios, cum laude. Carson William Fallow. David Farguson. Brandon Tyler Faskey, cum laude. Karina Nicole Fernandez. Kent Edward Ferris. Colin James Fitzpatrick. Charles Christopher Flanders, magna cum laude. Adrienne Jane Flory. Miles Stewart Fortenberry, magna cum laude. Laura Elizabeth Frost. Austin Gregory Funk. Marshall Lee Garbus. Allison Gerard, cum laude. Daniel Joseph Glassberg. Ricardo Abraham Gonzalez. Christopher Edward Gonzalez Tablada. Matthew Robert Haas. Roth Martin Hankel. Nathan John Hall. Eric Stephen Hamilton. Grace Arden Hancock, cum laude. Kendall Bernard Harris. Robert Parker Havis, cum laude. Allison Lawrence Higgins. Malake Mazen Hijazi, magna cum laude. Cora Lorraine Hill. Julissa Letitia Corinne Hunt. Gregory Jones, Jr. Catherine Erin Kaplan. Olivia Louise Kinnear. Amelia Elizabeth Kish. Gillis Wade Petrie Klotz. Jackson Marshall Klub. David Charles Laborde, Jr. Luke Gerard LaHaye, cum laude. Edward Alexander Laird. Simon Nathan George Overland Levitsky. Sarah Lynn Levy, cum laude. Wen Qiong Liang. Adrian Lopez. Jocelyn Mary Sade Love. Donovan Jordan Lovelock. Lindsay Clayton McGee Gordley. Zeke Edward Maggard. Austin Patrick Malone. Julia Elizabeth Lindsay Martin. Margaret Elizabeth Martin. Juan Manuel Martinez Gama Olivares. Portia Elizabeth Maston. Kathleen Marie McCart, magna cum laude. Ryan David McNamara, magna cum laude. Peter Martin Meinecke. Megan K. Miller. Denman Thomas Mims. Dilette Kaylee Mozio. Anaïs Moore Jacquard, summa cum laude. Erin Marie Morrissey, summa cum laude. Todd Moyer. Ryan Patrick Niedermeyer, cum laude. Andrew Thomas Trent Noel. Eric Daniel Novak. Mickey Nkamakonam Onwudinjo. Henry Julian Opatowski, cum laude. Jansen Tosh Owen. Megan Elizabeth Parks. Natalie Levon Paul. Abigail Hope Perkins, cum laude. John Claude Phillips. Michelle Pichado, cum laude. Madison C. Petrie. Hannah Dawn Price, cum laude. Jacob Jude Pritt, magna cum laude.
It's been a pleasure.
William Andrew Prorock. Nazanin Rahman, cum laude. Gothard King Reck. Elizabeth Mallette Reed. Daniel Benjamin Regan. Drew Matthew Renzi. Nicole Alexis Rim, cum laude. Victor Manuel Rivera Labiosa. Alia Rachel Rubenstein. Benjamin Joseph Russell. Ariel Armand San Miguel. Stanley Justin Sater, cum laude. Martin Schneider. Caitlin Erin Schock. Lauren Rebecca Scott, cum laude. Hanan Sirafi. Jonah Michael Seligman, magna cum laude. Lee Sharrock. Griffin William Scher, cum laude. Olivia Judith Scher, cum laude, magna cum laude. Jessica Lynn Sherman, magna cum laude. Michael Abraham Silva, cum laude. Michelle McGuire Sloss, summa cum laude. Laurie Ann Stuck. Laura Beth Sunday, cum laude. Carly Angela Tatman. Preston J. Tedesco. Claudine Mai Tien. Samuel Jones Tilden, cum laude. Mercedes Ann Townsend. Joseph Sebastian Tritton, cum laude. Ryan Michael Tucker. Philip Lawrence Turpin, cum laude. William Victor Vargas. Austin Vincenzini, cum laude. Brandon Volk. Quentin Stafford Walker. Julianne Marie Weidman, magna cum laude. Madeline Rose Weisblatt, cum laude. Emily Elizabeth Workman, magna cum laude. Alderman Gage Worley, magna cum laude. Margaret Dale Wilborn. Gerald Sylvester Williams. Kaylin Shauna Willie. Taylor Catherine Wimberley, magna cum laude. Lydia Rose Winkler. Gabriel Jerome Winsberg, magna cum laude. Marisa Elise Witter. Olivia Montine Freeman Woolham, cum laude. Radha Venkata Padma Yeramilli. Ryan Yousefi. Grant Stephen Zastro. Chin Zhuang. Thank you. Candidates for Master of Laws. Maria Cristina Barbero Barnett. Rafael de Barros Fritz with distinction. Maria del Rosario Galardi with distinction. Marina Isabel Graf with distinction. Xu Jiang. Maxime Savonito. Florencia Sosa Pinilla with distinction. Andrea Victoria Valderrama. Candidates for Master of Laws in Admiralty. Monica Bashiam. Hung Yi Qian. Jose Enrique Gomez Ocasio. Michael Oscar Indest. Yue Yu. Xinqian Pan. Rebecca Prentice Pskowski with distinction. Ying Jie Chin.
Thank you.
Denise Tunje. Antonio Andres Vargas Aguilar. Leonardo Vigano. Yan Wang. Dan Yang Zhang. Peng Zhao. Junfeng Zheng. Candidates for Master of Laws in Energy and Environment. Gwen Rosen Legaric. Ana Catalina Nieto Correa. Ajoa Safoa Kakra Kwaiko. Chechurat Ratanatikul with distinction. Enrique Sáenz Ramos. Wei Xin. Candidates for Master of Laws in International and Comparative Law. Sophie Bernadette Albrecht with distinction. Next category is candidates for Master of Jurisprudence. The Dean will be joined by the Academic Director of the program, Professor Joel Friedman. Candidates for Master of Jurisprudence. Jerry Charlie Abreu. George Anthony Albero. Megan Lee Allen. Annette Marie Arbonneau. Tane Valeria Armendaris. Teresa Ariso. Karen Hilbert Barnes. Rhonda Robinson Bowie. Deborah M. Bowling. Ronald Brown. Jeffrey Allen Christopher. Karen Sue Collins. Tamara King Collins. Chantel Marie Dozat. Lindsay Ann Davis. Susan Margaret Davis Morales. Bradley James Eddy. Shannon Anita Fazan. Maggie Ann Fechtel. Raven Todd Fitzgerald. Andrea Michelle Garrett Marsh. Monica Danette Gill Smith. Sammy Lynn Gutierrez. Erica Alexa Hathaway. Lola Jeanette Heap. Esmeralda Herrera. Lillian LaShawn Herring. Andre F. Howard. Michelle Barrow Hunter. Beverly Jane Jones. Ebony Johara Kelly Williams. Jamie Monique Lard. Alicia Marie Morrison. Rosario Yvette Navarro. Jean Sylvia Nelson Hooper. Tamara Marie Nouri. Tammy Lee Nutt. Brandy Nicole Page. Bianca R. Payne. Ivy Rose Pennington. Ariane Christine Phillips. Derek Jason Poirier. Octavia Marie Rogers. Lindsay Michelle Rostron. Alexander James Stewart Schrady, Jr. Keno Craig Simmons. Demetrica Roche Smith. Leslie Nicole Starks. Abraham Lincoln Villa. Kristen Evelyn Vincent. Monica Yvette Ward.
She's the last one.
Candidate for Doctor of Juridical Science, Rui Xuan Zhuo. Candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Michael Thomas Heaney. Denise Miles Francois. Jessica Ports Robbins.
We have now reached the end of our program. Please join me in just a moment in congratulating the graduates and in wishing them well and every success in their adventures ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2019. During the recessional, please remain seated until the platform party and the graduates have exited. And then I invite you to come back to the law school building, which is just 2 doors down at Weinman Hall, and join us for a reception to celebrate this very happy occasion. Congratulations again.